And I started with the military in 1943, and I got into the ASTP program, Army Specialized Training Program. And it was supposed to be 2.5 years of college, and then you'd go to the Army Officers Training Reserve. Then you would be commissioned second lieutenant, and you'd get your assignment. So it's about a dozen of us that signed up in 1943, transfers us out of the college program into the Air Force cadet program, Camp Walters, in Mineral Wells on the 21st of January of 1944. And that's when we were assigned and got into the Air Cadet program. And they sent me up to Buckley Field in Denver, Colorado. I got up there and they made me an instructor in small arms. Put us on board the USS General Meg, which was a troop transport. It was owned by the Army, it was operated by the Navy, and it had a Marine Guard contingent. They put 500 sailors and 700 Air Force troops aboard that ship. And they shipped us over to Foggia, Italy. And that's where the 15th Air Force was stationed, had airfields all around. And that's how I got into the 14th Fighter Group. And that's where this came from. This is their emblem, 14th Fighter Group. And that's the kind of cap that I wore when I was in the armament group. So I was signed to the armament group, and that's where I stayed all during the war. I had some fairly good qualifications in small arms, so I had that familiarity. And then they trained me on the Browning machine gun, on the aircraft model, which is a 50 caliber machine gun. And they also had, it was actually a Swedish designed 20 millimeter cannon, which your P-38 had one cannon and 4 machine guns right in front of it. And that was unique in all of the other airplanes because it could shoot straight ahead. So you aimed everything straight ahead. All the other airplanes, they had to change their guns to where they would converge at some point out in front. So the pilots couldn't get concentrated firepower until they got to a certain point. With P-38, you didn't have to worry about it. So that's why it became such a great ground attack airplane. And they were known for their railroad casualties. They could take a steam electric railroads when I was running down there. They could shoot it almost a mile away and make it explode. All I was doing in Italy, we were called the maintenance crew. You had a maintenance crew for the airplane, and you had the armament group, which would service the airplane for all its munitions. So I was cleaning machine guns, loading all the ammunition, and when they went out on a mission with bombs, we would have to load the bombs. We didn't have any fight against the Italians. They were a beaten nation, and we had bombed all of their cities And we had bombed every bridge and all the rivers from Naples all the way up to Florence. And that was a real problem for them to move around. But it became a problem for us to move around after the infantry went up north. All I was doing in Italy, we were called the maintenance crew. You had a maintenance crew for the airplane, and you had the armament group, which would service the airplane for all its munitions. So I was cleaning machine guns, loading all the ammunition, and when they went out on a mission with bombs, we would have to load the bombs. You had the flying group in one area, and you had the maintenance people, all the other company personnel, maintenance and everybody, they were in a different area. So we didn't have a chance to fraternize very often.
Did they lose very many pilots in your squadron?
Oh yeah, we had quite a few. I had one P-38 that was shot down. And I think it was around October. They had a mission to go bomb the Ploesti oil fields. And on that mission, Captain Edwards never came back, and I lost my airplane. We were going around the area, and I was looking at the P-51, and then I saw some of their pilots, and that was the first time I realized all their pilots were colored. And that was, it was kind of revelation. We didn't have that, blended people. They were the only ones that were colored, and they were in that flight, that group. And Bill explained it. He said, yeah, they were doing very well. And they were recommended every time the bombers got up, they wanted the Red Tails to escort them to their mission. And they were apparently excellent flyers. After that, I had a lot of respect for all those people. This is the emblem of my fire group. They called us forked-tailed devils. Germans didn't like to see a P-38. They were kind of overcome when our airplane people learned how to fly against them. At the first, P-38s were used to try to be as agile as the Germans, and that didn't work out. So they finally learned that if you want to attack a German formation, get above them, fly down, go through them, and then come back up to your high altitude. Don't try to engage in the dogfight. Just go through and come back up, get your altitude, get the sun behind you, and attack again. And that's the way they could manage any of the German airplanes. Anyway, we were flying pretty common missions as long as the weather let us. And it was along April, we were really flying, and that's when the 14th Fighter Group flew a mission up into southern Germany, and they went in 1 hour earlier than what they had been doing. The colonel decided he wanted to go in before they usually flew in. And he said they caught all of the German railroad out in the open. They shot over 80 locomotives and other cars, and really did devastate the railroad at that time. We had the highest record of all of the airplanes in the theater, in the European theater. And that was along in April. And then everything kind of came to a halt in May. And then on the 12th of May is when we were told to stand down. They had capitulated. And that was a great time. Declaration of war was over in May, and I left Italy in November. So I never got to say goodbye to any of my older group of people. Well, today, I'm 100 years old, and my full name is James Albert Cooke. Was born August 22nd, 1925. So today is an even 100. And I can't explain why. All I can say is I'm so grateful to the Lord who allowed me to go through all this and come out alive. And I thank Him every day.